If you are watching this video, it is very likely that at some point in your life you have consumed a Coca-Cola product. It is easily recognized worldwide. On May 8, 1886, Dr. John Pemberton served the first Coca-Cola in the city of Atlanta. Although it was not an instant success, today it is an essential part of the daily lives of millions of people around the world. With a history as long as this, there are many curiosities about the brand. As usual when explaining an iceberg, we will start with the most common at level 1, and end with the most intriguing and curious at level 5. Level 1. The success of Coca-Cola Company is undeniable. That is why many companies have tried to replicate the formula of the popular soft drink, being Pepsi the best known of all. There are an infinite number of soft drinks with a similar taste, and according to some, it is even better than Coca-Cola. There are those who know that they cannot compete in taste, so they offer a lower price, in the hope that it will become the choice of many people. During a press conference, prior to the Euro Cup 2020, Cristiano withdrew 2 bottles of Coca-Cola. Cristiano asked for water, not Coca-Cola. This led to believe that Cristiano was promoting the avoidance of carbonated beverages, and also coincided with a fall in Coca-Cola's share price, which went from $56.10 to $55.22 immediately after the media recorded the player's comment. Cristiano also said that he doesn't let his kids drink sodas either. In Hungary, advertisements were published that included images of same-sex couples kissing and holding Coca-Cola bottles. The company faced a backlash from Hungarian politicians and conservative activists, who called it a boycott to make the country look bad. The campaign, called Love is Love, fights for diversity, equality, and inclusion. It was launched days before the Sziget Festival, along with the slogan, Zero Sugar, Zero Prejudice. The Sziget Festival is attended by high-profile musical guests and promotes an environment where no one can be discriminated against or insulted because of their skin color, religion, or sexual identity. There was a Coca-Cola credit card, as part of an advertising campaign in the 90s. But it was not just for collecting as it is today, it had a real use. It was used to buy exclusive Coca-Cola products, and although you may think it's not a bad idea, during the time it could be used, it was hardly accepted in any store, making something as easy as buying a drink so much complicated. Because of this, shortly after its launch, the company decided to discontinue the credit card. A Coca-Cola billboard launched in South Australia would be remembered after the company discovered that the artist had hidden some rather obvious sexual imagery in one of the ice cubes surrounding the Coke bottle. A $200,000 campaign was created to promote the reintroduction of the original contoured shape of the Coke bottle. It was designed to appeal to young Coke drinkers who would not have grown up with the famous bottle shape. Coca Cola Kid is a Japan-exclusive platform game released in 1994 for the Game Gear. The game stars the Coca-Cola Kid. This character was the mascot of Coca-Cola in Japan during the 90s. The game is a platform game sequence, and the power-ups include the famous Coca-Cola soft drink that helps restore health and the coins that helps the player buy items between stages. OK Soda was a soft drink created by the Coca-Cola Company in 1993. This product attempted to appeal to young Americans with unusual advertising tactics, including neo-noir design, chain messages, and deliberately negative advertising. After the soft drink did not sell well in select test markets, it was officially declared out of production in 1995 before reaching national distribution. The drink's slogan was, "It's going to be okay." Level 2. Apparently many people consume Coca-Cola, but not by drinking it, but by using it for different things, among them, cleaning windows, removing gum from hair, removing rust from metal, or even for cooking. There is no record of the product being effective using it in this way. They are simply home remedies that people find. No matter what you call him, Santa Claus, Father Christmas, or any other name, He is a legendary character that speaks of Christmas, gifts, family gatherings, and in a very little-known way, Coca-Cola. Today's Santa Claus is more a fabrication of the Coca-Cola Company, so much so that his traditional clothing, which for centuries was green, was transformed to red to look more like the brand's colors. This happened in 1931 when Coca-Cola launched a Christmas advertising campaign that focused on a Santa Claus with the corporate colors white and red. One of the earliest illustrations of Santa Claus that comes close to the current interpretation we give the character was in 1862, when American Civil War cartoonist Thomas Nast drew a small elf supporting Union soldiers at Christmas. This image would serve as the basis for Coca-Cola's later campaign. In 1930, artist Fred Mizzen painted a Santa drinking a bottle of Coca-Cola in a department store, an image that was reproduced in print ads for the 1930 Christmas season. Such was its success that Coca-Cola's advertising agency, Darcy, and especially the executive Archie Lee, decided to use the symbol in 1931 and in the following years. In August 1961, Russian astronaut German Titov became the first human to eat food in space aboard the Vostok 1 spacecraft. His menu: 3 toothpaste-like tubes with 160 grams of mashed meat and chocolate sauce. Since then, astronaut food has evolved a lot, although few experiments have been as high-profile as Coca-Cola's in 1984. The soft drink company developed a can designed to dispense the liquid inside under microgravity conditions. The invention was launched on Space Shuttle Mission 51F in July 1985 for crew members to test the dispensers and perform a taste test. Predictably, when Pepsi, Coca-Cola's big competitor, heard about the experiment, it wanted to do the same and developed its own space can. However, the test results were mixed, and NASA did not add any carbonated beverages to its list of foods allowed for astronauts to consume. The Coca-Cola Company is so dominant in the market that an estimated 10,450 soft drinks are sold every second. This includes beverages such as Coca-Cola in all its different presentations, Fanta, and Sprite. Level 3. The ingredients of Coca-Cola have been kept secret because the Coca-Cola Company does not want to reveal its biggest secret. The company went so far as to enforce a policy of giving it to only 2 executives at a time and not allowing them to travel together by plane. The recipe has been kept secret for about 130 years. However, the ingredients of the well-kept secret seemed to surface in 2011. When This American Life host, Ira Glass, was looking through old newspapers for a different story he was working on, he noticed a column that was printed in 1979 and featured an image with prescriptions written by pharmacists. The recipe included some unsurprising elements, such as lots of sugar, vanilla, and caffeine. However, it also included some unusual ingredients such as lime juice, caramel, and coca leaf extract. The secret formula has an additional, more surprising part, which includes alcohol, orange oil, nutmeg oil, coriander, neroli, and cinnamon. After this, Coca-Cola responded by saying that this was not the secret formula, as there will only be one original. MagiCans were special, mechanical cans used by the Coca-Cola Company in the United States of America as part of its $100 million promotion. In this promotion, some Coca-Cola cans had cash prizes or gift certificates inside instead of Coca-Cola. The prizes were spring-loaded to pop out of the opening once the can was opened. The prize would be cash from $1 to $500 or coupons redeemable for travel or merchandise. The total delivery of cash coupons and prizes was $4 million. The original plan was to randomly distribute about 750,000 MagiCans among the 200 million Coca-Cola Classic cans in circulation at any given time. To make the cans feel and weigh normal, and to prevent people from easily finding the prize-winning cans, a sealed area inside the cans was filled with a mixture of chlorinated water and a malodorous substance to discourage consumption. Although initially a great success, technical difficulties led to the early termination of the promotion, as the soft drink was undrinkable and could pose health risks. The Super Bowl is the most watched annual event worldwide. It is a great show. During halftime, the big brands pay millions for a few seconds of advertising, Coca-Cola has been present in many editions of the Super Bowl, however the one that sparked the most controversy was the one in 2014. The name of the commercial is America is Beautiful, because it uses the song of the same name, which is sung in different languages by people from all over the world. This generated controversy, as many claimed that the song can only be sung in English, otherwise it is seen as disrespectful to the American people. Years later, during the 2017 Super Bowl, Coca-Cola decided to present the same ad again during halftime, generating again the same discussion as when it was broadcast for the first time. In 2021, Coca-Cola added phrases to its soft drink cans as part of a redesign to help sell more products. One user claimed that he bought a can of Coca-Cola, which had the phrase, "Try to be less white." After this, people doubted, as they did not know if it was real, so many went to their nearest store to try to find a can with that phrase written on it. Coca-Cola said that they never put that phrase on any can, and that it was all a plan to make the company look bad. Mexico is the main consumer of Coca-Cola worldwide, so much so that the country is among the countries that have more cases of diabetes per year. Many say it is due to the consumption of this drink. Coca-Cola has denied this, saying that there are other factors that influence this. But the reality is different. In a town called San Cristobal de las Casas, water is very scarce, so much so that the inhabitants only have access to it every 2 days. Because of this, the population is forced to consume mainly Coca-Cola, since it is often cheaper to buy it than to buy water. The inhabitants even hate the company, and have made protests to stop distributing the soft drink in the whole town. They themselves say that Coca-Cola is killing them. Level 4. The Share a Coke campaign first launched in Australia in 2011, and involved changing the traditional wrapping around the Coca-Cola bottle to say, "Share a Coke with," and a popular name. The purpose of the campaign was to create a more personal relationship with consumers and inspire shared moments of happiness. This campaign was quite successful and one of the best that the brand has had. However, it would be involved in controversy. This because one of the names that could be found was ISIS. Many saw the name and immediately thought of the terrorist group that bears the same name, claiming that Coca-Cola was somehow related to the group, since there was no way they didn't know what it meant, not to mention that ISIS is not a very common name in the world. Coca-Cola had something of a history of invasive animal experimentation, including cutting open chimpanzees' faces in order to conduct taste tests and force-feeding chemicals to rodents to test caramel color. This is the reason why PETA denounced Coca-Cola for its cruel treatment of animals, and after much pressure, Coca-Cola decided to end its experiments on animals. Drinking a Coca-Cola is for many one of life's greatest pleasures. Unless we find surprising and unexpected things inside a bottle or can. There have been found things like used straws or insects of various kinds. Mushrooms have also been found, and even small animals such as mice. But what takes the prize is a used condom, which was discovered by a family in the United States, who opened the soda and did not notice it at first, but the less liquid there was, the more they realized that something was floating. Most of these cases have been documented, and Coca-Cola had to pay millions to compensate those affected. The Max Headroom incident was an intrusive television signal that took place in Chicago, Illinois on Sunday night, November 22, 1987. The intruder managed to disrupt 2 broadcast television stations over the course of 3 hours. During this time he engaged in insulting the audience, and in general unruly behavior, all while wearing a mask of Max Headroom, a popular TV character. In addition to all the bad behavior he showed, the intruder mentioned the Coca-Cola slogan, being the only brand he made reference to. The person responsible was never caught, and it is for this reason that many have thought that this transmission was elaborated by Coca-Cola to advertise itself. That would explain why no one was ever caught, since Coca-Cola would protect those who interrupted the signal. Whether it is true or not, we may never know.
Of your tribe, but it's the only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
Oh, I've seen some dry clothes.
It is a fact, Coca-Cola is one of the main causes of pollution worldwide. Previously we saw that it is estimated that 10,450 soft drinks are sold every second, most of them bottled in plastic, which takes approximately 500 years to degrade. With 100 million bottles produced per year, it is not difficult to understand the harm this does to the planet. If you walk down the street, chances are it won't take you long to find a Coke bottle lying on the ground. We have already seen how people come up with peculiar uses for the soft drink, but none come close to this one. Starting in 1950, there was a rumor that Coke worked as a contraceptive, and many couples believed this to be true. The rumor was that Coca-Cola douches served to prevent pregnancy. It was believed that the carbonic acid in the drink could kill sperm and the sugar in the drink annihilated sperm. This was widely known for years to come, until a team of Taiwanese doctors received the 2008 IG Nobel Prize in Medicine for demonstrating that neither Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, nor even Pepsi-Cola have contraceptive capabilities and, if they did, they would be so weak as to be practically negligible. The study was carried out in response to other research from 1985 which stated that classic Coca-Cola worked better as a spermicide than new Coke. Level 5. Religion is an essential part of the world's culture. Everyone is free to have their own beliefs, as long as they respect those of others. In 1971, Coca-Cola arrived in a town called San Juan, and was quickly accepted by the locals, who consumed the soft drink religiously on a daily basis. Years later, the soft drink was considered sacred, as if it were a gift from God. Coca-Cola is part of their syncretic religious rites, where Christian saints and virgins are venerated under Mayan ceremonies in which even shamanism is practiced, within the same church of the population. Coca-Cola is even part of the offerings. It is so popular that there are even inhabitants who have not drunk water for years, since the only beverage they drink is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is undoubtedly the best product of the Coca-Cola Company, but behind this is possibly Fanta. The origin of this one is quite curious, since it was invented during the Second World War. Coca-Cola ran into problems when the US government banned multinationals from trading in Germany. In the middle of World War II, the German Coca-Cola factories could not receive the extract concentrate used to create this soft drink. In order to continue operating and not be forced to close, local managers decided to create a new beverage that could be produced with the machines they had, without the availability of Coca-Cola syrup and other products rationed during the war. Buttermilk and apple peel, along with other residual ingredients that could be purchased, were chosen as the basis for the soft drink, thus creating Fanta. In 1944, Gladys Escola was a waitress in a restaurant. She was putting away glass bottles of Coca-Cola when one of the bottles spontaneously exploded in her hand. She suffered a deep 5-inch cut, which severed the blood vessels, nerves, and muscles of the thumb and palm of the hand. The top portion of the bottle, with the cap, remained in her hand, and the lower portion fell to the floor but did not break. After this, Escola tried to go against Coca-Cola, but failed to win. Coca-Cola Company argued that bottles do not explode out of nowhere, and that if she was hurt, it was due to her negligence. This was an important case in the development of the common law of product liability in the United States. Amy Louise Thorpe, 34, was 15 weeks pregnant when she died at her home in Invercargill, New Zealand, on December 4, 2018. Her partner said she was addicted to drinking Coke and had a history of epilepsy, depression, and anxiety. She drank on average 2 liters per day of Coke and up to 5 energy drinks. Dr. Hammond Took said it was possible that Thorpe's caffeine addiction contributed to her death. He said some studies showed that caffeine increased susceptibility to seizures. Caffeine also reduces the effects of some drugs. This is an example that we should have moderation with any product. It was 1989 when a Coke employee named John Wallace was laid off. Wallace was 45 years old and had been a Coke driver for 20 years. Although for many this job would not be for much, for Wallace it was quite important because of the time he had been there, so upset and angry he decided to act on it. Wielding 2 pistols, shot to death 2 of his bosses, then holed up inside an office of the soft drink giant's headquarters for several hours before police flushed him out with tear gas, and shot him. As we have seen throughout the video, Coca-Cola Company has been involved in many controversial situations, and there are even more that have never come to light, due to the brand's efforts to cover it up. On this website you can see all the accusations against Coca-Cola that exist, from conspiracies to human rights violations. Anything you can imagine, you will find it here. Whether you decide to believe it is true or not, it's your decision.